गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. We are in Amrit Anubhav, chapter 5, Satchidananda Padatrayi Vivarna. We are in the summary now. We concluded the chapter last week. This is the overview of this chapter. What are the salient points? Because lot was discussed that the words Sat Chit Ananda, they are unqualified to describe the truth, because words do not have entry into that infinite reality. Then what is the purpose of these words Sat, Chit, Anand, Nitya, Shuddha, Buddha, Mukta, etc.? They are used, employed to counteract the opposite. Sat is used to counteract Asat, Chit is used to counteract Achit, Anand is used to counteract Dukkham, Nitya for Anitya, Shuddha for Ashuddha, and so on. Why? Very simple. The truth is beyond conceptualization. Words are concepts. Even if we use the word infinite, it is a concept. We have got some idea about it. Then we start explaining what is infinite. Oh, infinite is that which is opposite of finite, concept. What is infinite? That which has got no boundaries, concept. So in the summary, Swamiji says, all efforts to conceptualize the truth and define it in terms of speech or words are futile. Now don't just take it as information. What we are talking about in this text? What is this truth that we are talking about? You are that truth. Be subjective. And where are the words which are futile? In the mind. So the capacity of the mind to come to know the truth through words, thoughts, ideas, concepts, inferences, examples is null and void. It is not possible for the mind to come to know the truth, which you are in essence. Even the most oft used words, Satchidananda, are meaningless in describing what the truth is, because the moment these words are used, they conjure up images of the opposite quality. As we have already said, the moment we say man, woman comes. The moment we say up, down comes. The moment we say inside, outside comes. The moment we say Sat, Asat comes. The moment we say Chit, Achit comes. So when we say, oh, my mind is very agitated, what is it agitated by? Oh, agitation is always by way of thoughts only. Thoughts, imaginations, etc. Then what do we say? Okay, think of calming thoughts. So what are you doing? You are, take the name of the Lord, So what is happening? You are replacing the agitated thoughts by another thought which brings about calmness. Exactly the same way, these words Satchidananda are used, or when they are used, they conjure up images of the opposite quality, and therefore no words, as profound as they may be, have the capability to illuminate the truth. Then why are we studying? इतने सालों से लगे हुए हैं बेवकूफ़ों की तरह, like stupid people. We are reading after pages now. Already 147 pages we have gone through. If there is no point, if the words cannot illuminate the truth, then why are we studying? Have you ever asked this question? We have asked this question many times and we have answered also, but do you remember the answer? Tell someone. Then why are we studying with so many words when words are incapable of revealing the truth? I'm asking.
They are indicators.
We are saying that nice word, they are indicators. Mind cannot be indicated to the truth. Mind has no capacity, no jurisdiction, no capability to look at that which is beyond the mind. So that word also goes out of your dictionary. Then what is the purpose? Why are we using so many words? Day in and day out, satsang after satsang, scripture after scripture.
To purify the mind, Swamiji.
Aye, good. Only one reason: to neutralize the mind. It is the mind where all the opposites are. Sat, asat. So till now, first it was defined what is asat. First it was defined what is achit. First it was defined what is dukkha. Now we have introduced words. The scriptures are the words which neutralize, counteract all the unwanted thoughts in our mind. So that is the only purpose. The result of it is purification. And where there is no mind, there you are. In fact, I shouldn't say no mind, in the sense mind is nothing but consciousness. When is mind consciousness called a mind? When there are thoughts. With reference to thoughts, consciousness is called mind. Just as with reference to wife, the man is called husband. But he is always the man. Similarly, mind is always the consciousness. But with reference to thoughts, it is called mind. If there are no thoughts, good or bad, sat or chit, sat or asat, chit or achit, anand or dukkham, if there are no thoughts, then mind is nothing but consciousness. And that I am. This is the realization without a thought. You understand the whole jigsaw puzzle? So words. So why are we studying all the scriptures and text after text? Only to counteract the deeply entrenched notions, ideas, concepts which are detrimental to realization. They are hijacking the consciousness again and again. What are they? The world was there before I was born. That I am the body. That one day I will die. That I am only this much. And so on. So we have to get out of all these wrong conclusions about ourselves. Pairs of opposites are only in the realm of relative thought. So that pairs of opposites are only in the realm of relative thought. Thought is by nature relative. It cannot be transcendental thought. You may say Ram, but Ram is being chanted by the mind. It is in the relativity only. See? Then why are you chanting Ram? Or to counteract a Ram. What is a Ram? Everything else other than Ram. Oh, but Ram is all inclusive. Is that your experience? No. Until then, keep chanting. Dekho. Anything you come, you can come to this point. So here, mind, which is nothing but thoughts. Thoughts are always of the opposite nature. So here he says pairs of opposites are only in the realm of relative thought, but truth is beyond the pairs of opposites. Truth is transcendental to the pair of opposites. Is equal to truth is transcendental to the mind, because pairs of opposites present themselves only to the mind, not to the truth. Now these are all pointers. You look at yourself. Are you living at the realm of opposites? Or is your attention fired up? Yes, you are using words. It's fired up by the transcendental that you are, the untouched by the thoughts that you are. See? Poison is poisonous only to that which is other than the poison itself. In other words, poison is not poisonous to a snake. Poison is poisonous. Poison of the snake is poisonous to others. It can kill others, but it never kills the snake. He is carrying it in the sap. So also the words Satchidananda are used only so long as truth is objectified and operate only in the realm of duality. If we are looking for an experience of realization, if we are looking forward to an experience of the self, then we are knocking on the wrong door. It will never be possible. It will never be possible. So here teacher Swamiji is saying, so the word Satchidananda, because that's this chapter titled Satchidananda Padatrayi Vivarna. So the word Satchidananda are used only as long as the truth is objectified. Objectified how? What do you mean by truth is objectified? When, as long as you are thinking of the truth as a thought in your mind, is objectification of the truth. So word truth, what it is something else. It is the infinite. It is the eternal. But how you are using it? In the mind. How do you use it in the mind? T-R-U-T-H, and you pronounce it in a particular way. See? Just as the word sleep, S-L-E-E-P. Do you think of sleep when you have slept? No. Can the word sleep be equal to sleep? Never. It can never be. Then why are you using the word sleep, as someone said, to indicate sleep? But do you know what sleep means? No, because we are not there. Our mind is not there in sleep. We means as an individual, as a waker. We are not there in sleep, so we cannot come to know the sleep. Then why did we keep thinking of the sleep? Because other thoughts in the mind were not allowing us to go beyond the mind. So we use the thought sleep to counteract all other thoughts of the waking. Similarly, we use the word truth to counteract all the thoughts of untruth. But while we are using the word truth, Sat, Chit, Ananda, they are as important in revealing the truth as the word sleep is in revealing the truth. The word sleep, the thought sleep is not equal to experience of sleep, isn't it? Now, catch this point. Catch this point. Don't make it into another concept. Existence is conscious bliss. Consciousness is blissful existence. The three cannot be separated from each other, just as three qualities of camphor mean camphor alone. What are three qualities of the camphor? It is white, it is fragrant, and it is a crystal. What is it? All the three mean camphor alone. Who are you? I am a man, I am a husband, I am a father, I am a son. All three mean man alone. Are they separate from the man? No. Exactly the same way. Sat, Chit, Anand mean the truth alone. Or in other words, here it is said, Sat is existence, Chit is consciousness, Ananda is bliss. What is our mind doing when it thinks about existence, consciousness, bliss? It separates the three. It takes it as a concept, existence as a concept, consciousness as a concept, Anand as a concept. And it is seeing the three are separate because three different words. So just like Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. Sattva is purity, Rajas is dynamism, Tamas is inertia. And we think this fellow is tamasic, this fellow is rajasic, this fellow is sattvic. But all the three are one. What is that? Maya, unmanifest. You can be an angry husband, a loving father, and a dutiful son. But Hora is one man only. But if son, father, and husband are not there, does man vanish? No, man continues to be. Similarly, our mind has made Sat Chit Anand as a concept. Here when it says existence is conscious bliss. Conscious bliss means existence means what? That which is always. Conscious means that I know that which is always. And the result is bliss. Now when I say the result is bliss, this is the shortcoming of the language. It feels as if it is a result. It's as if when I come to know conscious existence, is equal to bliss. No. Sat, Chit and Ananda are one and the same, just as man, son and the father are the same, the man. Only recognition is required. And if you remain focused on the man that you truly are, then the roles of the names of Father, the Son, and not the Holy Ghost, but the husband. He's the Holy Ghost. The husband. You will not be disturbed by those names because your attention is on the man who is the substratum of all the three roles. But when we give attention to these, then the opposite also. The man is because of wife, then wife becomes the source of misery for the man. The mother becomes the source of misery for the son. The children become the source of misery and joy also. But you keep fluctuating. Man doesn't fluctuate. So existence is conscious bliss. Consciousness is blissful existence. Whichever way you put it, jumbling up the words in this way or that way is equal to one only, that they are all three essentially one. The three cannot be separated from each other. But what is the mind doing? It has separated the word existence and what it indicates as separate to consciousness. Spelling is different. What it indicates, consciousness means life, existence means inertness. This world of matter is existing. So we immediately say, oh, this cup is existing, I am existing. Cup is inert, I am consciousness. I am consciously existing. So consciousness has become a concept which is expressing through this matter called the body. That teriki. The ocean has become the total consciousness which is expressing through the matter called the form of the wave. Bekufi hai na? Is it possible? That is exactly what we are doing to ourselves. The wave is already the ocean. You are already the infinite. But this language that consciousness is expressing as life through here, all this blah 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 blah, it goes on and we confuse ourselves thoroughly. And the example, so point here that is being made is Sat, Chit, Ananda are one and the same. They have never become three. It is our imagination. Imagination is always in the mind, not in the consciousness. The imagination is in the mind, and mind functions only in by way of thoughts. So it has divided that one into three as Sat, Chit and Ananda, and is thoroughly confused. Now he is finding a way. How can I go beyond Satchidananda? How can I become one with the Satchidananda? But as long as you are thinking of Satchidananda, you can as long as the mind is thinking of Satchidananda, it will never abide in the Satchidananda Swarup. It needs to quieten down. It needs to understand. It will quieten down only when it understands the three are one alone. Just as the example taken is of the camphor. Heat has no meaning for the fire, light has no meaning for the sun, sweetness has no meaning for the sugar, because these are their essences without which these cannot exist. In the same way, the words Sat, Chit, Ananda carry no meaning in the Paramatma. Just like the ornaments carry no meaning for the gold, the waves carry no meaning for the ocean or the waters. Similarly, the names and forms carry no meaning for the infinite truth. The thoughts carry no meaning for the infinite truth. Even if we take it as God, who is the creator of the creation and the material out of which the whole creation is made, he has got no meaning for creation, because from his point of view, he is all that there is. How you can talk about something only if it is separate to you? Nothing is separate to him. He is everything. It's only a matter of language. He is everything and he is pervading everything. Right? It's just a language. All is in me, all is in God, and God is in all. It's only a language. What does it mean? Ocean is in all the waves are in the ocean. Who is saying? Some idiot who is apart from the ocean and wave, he is saying that. But you ask the ocean, hey, are you pervading all the waves? He says, what is waves? I don't know. No, they say all the waves, we have been studying for so long that you are in all the waves and all the waves are in you. Because for the ocean, waves are not separate to it. So he cannot conceptualize. Just as sun cannot conceptualize what is heat and light. The heat and light are the essence of the sun. See. That's what is told here. Just as light has no meaning for the sun, sweetness has no meaning for the sugar. Sugar is the dharma of the sugar. Sweetness is the dharma of the sugar. The essence. The heat and light is the essence of the sun. It cannot be separated from the sun. So all the words, where are we? Sugar. Because these are their essences without which these cannot exist. So each one cannot exist without the essence. What is that without which you cannot exist? Have you ever thought? Have you ever stopped in life in last 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 years? Why did I? Because all these different ages are present. Listening. That's why I continued till 80. Have we ever stopped in life and even once thought, what is my essence? What is that essence? Dharma. Dharma is that without which a thing is not a thing. If there is no sweetness, sugar cannot be called a sugar. If there is no heat and light, sun cannot be called a sun. If there is no luster, gold cannot be called gold. So what is that? If it is not there, you will not be called you. Now work on it. Start from wherever. If the wife is not there, I continue to be. If the parents are not there, I continue to be. If the children are not there, I continue to be. If the job is not there, I continue to be. If the hand is cut, I continue to be. If the leg is cut, I continue to be. If the kidney is taken out, I continue to be. If the heart is replaced by an artificial heart, I continue to be. Arey, abhi tak mara nahi. Continue. If the hearing capacity goes away, I continue to be. Eyesight goes away, I still continue to be. If the mind is losing the memory power, I continue to be. If mind stops thinking, I continue to be. It is your daily experience. When you go to sleep, you are not thinking, but you continue to be. What is that? What is that? Without which I will not be me. Come, think in this manner and come to the real you, where you discard everything that has been like pasted on the conscious, the true you, like a stamp on an envelope. The Panchakoshas are just stamps on the self that you are. Socho bhaiya, socho. What is that? What is your dharma? We are only lost in the dharma. I have to do my dharma for my kid, duty towards my husband, towards my wife, towards my children, towards my parents, towards the society. All that is good. But all that will naturally express out of you if you are true to your true dharma. This dharma towards everyone else and the society is with reference to something. What is your true dharma? What is that without which you are not you? If you consider yourself to be the body, what is that without which this body cannot express? Work it out. Just thinking about this thought will bring you to silence. In silence you are. Expose yourself to such contemplation again and again. Then life will become a breeze. It will become meaningful. Then your presence is auspicious everywhere. Right now it is only a source of trouble to everyone. Hitler आ गया. So the word Satchidananda carry no meaning for the Atma. The husband, son and the father carry no meaning for the body, for the man. See? The colors and forms carry no meaning for the eyes. How can you say that? So many colors are changing, so many forms are changing. Are eyes changing? No. Are eyes disturbed? No. They carry no meaning to the eyes. The five senses are continuously going to their stimuli and moving away from stimuli. Does it affect the mind? No. So many thoughts are coming and going, coming and going. Does it affect the mind? No. Every day waking, dream, deep sleep, come and go. Does it affect the eye? No, it doesn't affect the eye. The true eye. It doesn't affect. Come back to base. कहाँ तुम उधर पेरिफेरी में घूम रहे हो? Come back to base. The 16 kalas add nothing to the moon nor take anything from it. Again, another example is taken. The waxing and waning of the moon. The 15 days, the 16 kalas are from the no moon to the full moon. And then again from full moon to the no moon. So total one phase is 16. But ask the moon, hey man, you're looking so beautiful like the crescent. You are looking so beautiful like the full moon. Wow, it was so magical. He says, what was magical? No, you are looking full. He says, I have never been other than full. What you are talking about, I don't know. No, you are looking very cool. Cool? What is cool? No, we could not see you for so many days and slowly you have been increasing and now on the Purnima day you have become full. He says, no, I can't understand what you are saying. The moon can never understand the waxing and waning. Can never understand. From moon's point of view, there is no waxing and waning. From the self point of view, there is no creation. It alone is. The 16 kalas add nothing to the moon nor take anything away from it. Purna. Moon is always Purnamada Purnamidam. You are also always Purnamada Purnamidam. But what are you imagining yourself to be? I am the waker, I am the dreamer, I am the sleeper, I am the meditator. And in all the four states, I am frustrated. When I am awake, I want to be in meditation. When I am in meditation, I don't want to be awake. I don't want to come out of meditation. When I am in sleep, I don't want to come out of sleep. When I am awake, I want to go to sleep. इसी में लगे हुए पूरी जिंदगी. Whole life we are going in this only. Running from one end to the other. Never accepting that we are the changeless. See how much disservice we are doing to ourselves. How much disservice. And we are extending it on a daily basis, even after listening to it so many times. The moon remains the same untouched self. So all the words Satchidananda have no meaning in the Paramatma. Similarly, Atma is a word which has meaning only with reference to everything that is Anatma. It has no capability to indicate Atma. Get this once and for all. Atma is only used to counteract Anatma. Infinite is only used to counteract finite. Eternal is only used to counteract that which is not eternal. Shuddha is used on pure is only used to counteract Ashuddha, impure. That is the limitation of the words. No, but I don't know. My mind can only think, it never remains without thinking. Who knows? How did you make that statement? My mind is always thinking, it doesn't remain without thinking. No, I observe my mind. Now come to this point. Who is observing the mind? I am. No, which one? If you are observing, then you are not the mind, you are the observer of the mind. That observer, in essence, is the changeless one. But when that observer keeps thinking of something, gives attention to something other than itself, it is reduced to slavery. So understand, no words can qualify the truth. All words are only to counteract their opposites. He is Parama Yogi, he is a Parama Yogi who sees everything in his own Atma. Who is a Parama Yogi? Who sees everything in his own Atma. What do you mean by he sees everything in his own Atma? What is everything? Someone tell me, what is everything? Tell. What is everything?
That which is changing.
That which is changing is everything. Okay. What? Put it in another words.
The world.
Kala Desha Vastu Swamiji.
Desha Kala Vastu is everything. Put it yet in another words. Good. Brainstorming. How else will you explain everything?
The world, Swamiji.
Yeah, world, but world is... Explain. What is world? Do you accept only the waking world, or do you accept the dream world and the sleep world also?
The dream world and the sleep world as
So
well.
you have to accept, you have to mention it. Just by one word, world is not enough.
Yeah.
What else?
Mind.
Huh?
Mind. Thoughts in the mind.
Thoughts in the mind is everything, because everything is only known through the mind. Good. Anything else? Any brain waves coming?
The Triputi, Swamiji.
Very good. Triputi. The knower, known, knowing, the experiencer, experienced, experiencing. Very good. So all this is everything. Whatever you have said, it's just different ways of telling what everything is. Everything means manyness. Manyness means world. World means waking, dream, deep sleep. And you can keep giving different names to it. Who is a Param Yogi? Who sees all this in the Atma, means he sees all this in the self. Do you see all this in the self? Do you see your husband, wife, children, parents, the whole world, past, present, future in the self? And that is the truth. That is happening at this moment. But have you developed the eye to see that all this is nothing but the self alone? Pursuing this goal, what is told here, that seeing everything in the Atma, is the worthy goal that we must pursue in our life. We want to see ourselves in our children. Pathetic. Oh, I think my child is looking, that child has got qualities like my parents, my grandparents whom I met. इसी में फंसे रहेंगे. My son can dance like Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson you are ready to see in your son. But you are not ready to see the infinite expressing. That is the tragedy of ours. And that's why we come to satsang, so we can change this approach completely, once and for all. And that will only happen, initial steps, when we fall in love with the infinite more than we love the children, the family, the parents, the world, the objects, the possessions, the wealth, the body. When we love the infinite. Otherwise the tragedy will continue. The tragedy of considering ourselves to be less than what we actually are. That is the tragedy. That is the tragedy. He is a Param Yogi who sees everything in his own Atma. Today's meditation was about this, that Atma cannot be known. At least you can come to the God principle. Ram, Krishna, Shiva. Who are they? They are the Parama Yogis who see the entire creation in themselves. They don't see themselves separate from the creation. At least come to that point. Sahasra Shirsha Purushaha Sahasraksha Sahasrapad. every day must lead to our growth, to our expansion. Expansion means our mind must become calm. Our mind must become less agitated. Naturally, without efforts. Then expansion is possible. In this way, the words Satchid Ananda and Atma are used only to deny Asat, Achit and Dukkham and Anatma Bhava. If you are listening to me at this moment, it is Anatma Bhava. If I am speaking to you, it is Anatma Bhava. Oh, I thought we are coming in satsang. Yes, but it is Anatma Bhava. Why? Because you are considering me to be separate and I am considering you to be separate to me, to myself. Anatma Bhava. So at this moment, what is the Atma Bhava? That I am speaking to myself. Who is myself? All of you are myself only. And what is your Atma Bhava? I am listening to myself. I am talking to myself, you are listening to yourself. No, but how? No. Swamiji is only a concept of my own mind, a projection of my mind. So my mind speaking to myself. It sounds foolish at this moment, but we must try to see, yes, that is how it is. Because one has become many and many is already the one. So the whole creation is in your mind. So if the whole creation is only a projection of the mind or is in the mind, then how can you remain separate from the creation? Just as in dream. In the dream, you have become the speaker and you are speaking to people. But both are you only. The mind alone is the speaker and mind alone is the spoken to. So you are speaking to yourself or you are listening to yourself. Same is happening in the waking also. पागल हो जाओगे सोच सोच के ऐसे. Then welcome to the club. Then you are allowed entry into this special club. पागल होना पड़ेगा उसके लिए. Hey, this is contemplation. And when you see that one in all and all in one, then there is no question of thoughts. No question of thoughts. And even if there are thoughts, there is no one to say that I am speaking. Even if there are thoughts, there is no one to say that I am speaking. These are my thoughts. Because ownership is given, you have expanded. If these words are useless to indicate the truth, should they be discarded? No, they should be used as a technique of samavadi brahma, intentional delusion to lead to the reality. So what is samavadi brahma? Delusion is forgetfulness. Delusion means forgetfulness. What is intentional delusion? Intentional forgetfulness. What do you want to forget? Someone tell me. What do you want to intentionally forget? If delusion is equal to forgetfulness, illusion is projection. Delusion is forgetfulness. non-comprehension is delusion. Intentional delusion, intentional forgetfulness, intentional non-comprehension. What do you intentionally want to forget? Tell.
That I am the body.
Good.
That
I am the body.
That we are individual.
That we are individual. What else?
All illusions.
All illusions.
Using the mind, Swamiji.
Pardon me?
Using the mind.
Using the mind, yes. We want to, so because we only know how to think by way of thoughts, but right now at this present moment all our thoughts are about anatma, all our thoughts are about that which is not able to give us peace, tranquility, which is anatma. We want to break, we want to transcend, we want to become free from the gravity of the anatma. Because remaining focused on anatma, I am only in dukkham. Anandam is not coming only. Then what do I do? How do I know anatma? By way of thoughts. Isn't it? There is no other way of knowing anatma. Only by way of thoughts. The whole world is known only by way of thoughts. Isn't it? Then what do I do? Then I have to employ another thought which can counteract these thoughts of anatma. Then what is that word? Sat, Chit, Anand, Nitya, Shuddha, Buddha, Mukta. These are, again, they are part of anatma only. But by using these words and falling in love with them and contemplating on them and reflecting upon them and pondering over them, what happens? They are able to break the gravity of the anatma, of the other part. So these are the good anatma, that the others are the bad anatma. In that sense, if I want to use that explanation. Now we are not able to get stuck in the anatma. Then what are we thinking? I am aham satchidanandoham mano buddhi ahankara chitta ninaham na me shrotra jivhe na cha grana netre. Different words are there, different compositions are there. This is one composition. Amrit Anubhav. What the first verse of Nirvana Shatkam I just chanted. First two lines I chanted. See? So we are utilizing anatma to counteract anatma. I am a failure in life. It's a thought in your mind. I am successful in life. It's also a thought in your mind. You use that, I am a successful person, I am a capable person, I have the ability to go beyond all, to become very successful. If you keep thinking like that, you will overcome failure. This is a very simple example, but it is something that I experienced myself. Therefore, I have no doubt about it. What is that? Many 25, 30 years ago, I did a fire walking exercise. And in the room for 2 hours, what is fire? Hot. What is fire? Which burns. And we have to brainwash ourselves by repeating again and again and again and scream and believe in our heart that fire is cold. That fire does not burn. We didn't use the word burn. We just said fire is cold, fire is cool, fire is, I used those two words. Till my brain was, when you repeat something hundreds of times, again and again and again, with belief, with faith, you start believing it. And the teacher knew that this fellow is ready, and he says, okay, go. And walked on fire, didn't even feel the heat, more than 1000 degrees. Didn't feel the heat. I only prepared the fire, myself and my friend. Didn't feel the heat. Once, twice, thrice. Then I took a piggyback, walked over it. Still I can't feel the heat. Mind. So what did we do? The first whole life I have been thinking fire is hot, fire is hot, fire is hot, fire is hot. And now what did I do? Again I used the mind. I used the thoughts. Fire is cool, fire is cool, fire is cool, fire is cool. And what was the experience? Fire is cool. Fire did not burn me. Under normal circumstances, fire would have burnt me. But because the mind had come to a conviction that my fire is cool, fire does not burn, when I walked over it, what walked over it? The body walked over it. Body is only a concept of the mind. If mind is believing that the fire does not burn, how can the body burn? Siddhi ho gayi. Mahatmas walk on water because they have believed, they have faith that I will not drown, that I am light, that I will not sink. Both ways. Same way, I am a limited entity, I was born, I will die. Break all these convictions, notions by I am Satchidananda Swarup. So what is Satchidananda? These are again words in the mind which are there to counteract the opposite. See? Don't we say when we are at a important job we have to do and we are working, and for whatever reason, too much eating or haven't had the coffee, or you had a sleepless night, or you got up early in the morning and you feel sleepy and you have to work. What do? Yaar neend aa rahi hai, yaar. What do you do to yourself? I'm not sleepy, I'm not sleepy, I'm not sleepy. That is your japa going on inside, but eyes are closing. Then you get up, walk around, splash water, something you will do to counteract the sleep, isn't it? Exactly the same way is this process. See, what Jnaneshwar Maharaj is telling here, that they should be used, the Satchidananda words are to be used as samvadi bhrama, intentional delusion, to lead to the reality. So reality is ever present. Reality is not to be created. Reality is ever present. Where is it? You are that. Everything is that only. The world is also that. God is also that. You are also that. Because our experience of the world is Jiv Jagat Ishwar. Everything is reality. But what are you focused on? Name and form. You consider yourself to be name and form. So you have given God also a name and form. Therefore you see the world also as name and form. Yahi to stupidity hai. This has to be broken. Cut. So for that, what do we say? I am beyond name and form. Counteraction chal raha hai. Is it your experience? No, it is not my experience. Then what is that intentional delusion? You want to forget that you are form and you want to remember that you are beyond form. So, I am beyond form is a thought which counteracts the thought I am the form. देखो, Both are going on in the mind only. This is called intentional delusion, samvadi brahma. It helps you. And what is happening? Just like I gave this example before, I am repeating it again. The thought of sleep is samvadi brahma to counteract all the thoughts of the waking. The thought of sleep is not equal to sleep. How long are you thinking of sleep thought? You are thinking of sleep thought till the last thought of the waking experience is melts away, gets dissolved. When the last thought of the world dissolves, now there is no need to think of I have to sleep or I am sleepy. Then the thought of sleep also dissolves away because there is nothing to counteract. And when the thought of sleep also dissolves away, what happens? Sleep is. Similarly, all the thoughts of the world are counteracted by Satchidananda or the word Atma. How long are you thinking I am Atma, I am Atma? Till the last thought of the world dissolves away. When it dissolves away, then I am Atma or Aham Brahmasmi, even this thought also is not required. Or the word Ram is not required, because then you will be one with Ram. Ram is used only till what is Vaikhari Madhyama Pashanti Para. At the Vaikhari level, the Ram word or the whatever mantra you are using is used to counteract the thoughts of the waking. Madhyama, the Ram or the whatever mantra you are using is used to counteract the thoughts of the dream, subtle world. Then in Pashyanti, the thought of the Ram or the idea of the Ram is used to counteract the deep sleep. Counteract the deep sleep. If you go to sleep, who will be conscious? Nobody will be there. You have to counteract deep sleep also. But when everything has been counteracted and they are no longer posing any threat, they are no longer able to entangle you and pull you into themselves by attaching themselves to you, then Ram is also not required. Then your mantra also drops away. When mantra also drops away, then what is left? You are there. As what? As you are. Not as you think you are. As you are. This is the most wonderful technique of Vedanta. Samvadi Brahma. Intentional delusion. And you are using it in your daily life unknowingly. You are only replacing this with that, that with this. You have never utilized this technique for the higher. Utilize it for the higher. Samvadi Brahma. Satchidananda are the three snakes used to inquire into the nature of the rope, the substratum. What is a rope? Can one thread make a rope? Not possible. What are the three? Here he is saying Satchidananda are the three threads which make one rope. So he says, inquire into the nature of the rope. Where are the thoughts appearing? In the mind. What is the mind? Essentially the consciousness. So, by way of thoughts, we are trying to come to know the substratum, the pure consciousness. By way of the rope, the threads of Satchidananda, we are coming to know the rope. It's just an example. Continuing, once the words have revealed one's own essential nature, they fall into silence. How will they reveal the nature? Because every word has a connotation. If I say Bodh, immediately the picture of Bodh comes in front of my attention, goes to her. Nagaraj, immediately it goes there. Laptop, immediately it goes there. So when we say Satchidananda, what comes up in your, what happens to you? Are you thinking of it as a concept, or is it coming as Sat, I, Chit, I, Anand, I? Are you coming to yourself when you use the word Satchidananda? When you look at so many children, do you feel they are yours? But when you look at your child, what is your feeling? It is mine. So the love, so the sacrifice, so the sleepless nights, so continuously thinking about their welfare. Why you are not feeling the same about all other children? Why only your children? Because you have included them in your definition of I. Other children we have not included. Ammachi has included the entire humanity in the definition of I. So she is the universal mother. See. Once the words have revealed one's own essential nature, so when we say, I am the husband, husband is revealing the illusory entity called a personality which is with reference to wife. Father is an illusory personality, virtual personality with reference to children. So the word father is indicating someone. The word father is indicating someone. Similarly, the words Sat, Chit, Ananda are also indicating someone. Who is it? That I am. Initially it is only an imagination that it is me. Because you don't know yourself, you are trying to find yourself, you are trying to realize yourself through words which are incapable of revealing. But the connotation that I am Sat, I am Chit, I am Ananda, I keep thinking about it again and again with faith, with belief, with commitment, with regularity, with mumukshutvam, urgency. To that extent, Asat, Achit and Dukkham will not touch you. When the Asat, Achit and Dukkham have completely been neutralized, then the using of the word Satchidananda also will be dropped. When it is dropped, there you are. You were there before also, but because you are caught up in thinking, you are not able to access yourself as you are. So you have utilized these words Satchidananda to counteract, and eventually the word Satchidananda also drop away, and what remains behind is the truth, and that you are in essence. Once the words have revealed one's own essential nature, they fall into silence. What fall into silence? The words fall into silence. Can the words fall into silence permanently? Yes and no. What do you mean by yes and no? Someone tell if you have understood what I am leading towards.
When we want to be silent, it can be in silent.
Huh?
When we want to be in silent, it can be in silent. Our wish.
No, there is no. Atma has no wish.
When you
Self has no wish. Next.
When you realize, Swamiji, these words will become silent, and also when the body, the life leaves the body, also that becomes silence too.
I said yes and no.
Yeah, yes is yes is when you when you realize, Swamiji, the words, there's no reason for a word. You become that which is silence.
Okay. You're trying. Anyone else?
Between two thoughts, Swamiji.
That is okay.
Yes, Swamiji.
What yes? I said yes and
Because
no.
the world, yeah, because the world is within us only.
So
So I think it is yes. It is my
no, I'm
opinion.
not asking whether it is yes and no. I'm
Because
saying
the
it is.
world is,
I'm
it
saying.
is our imagination, and it is the world within us.
I am saying it is yes as well as no.
Oh, I have to conclude the no too.
Yes, your no is equally valid as yes, and you have to transcend both. So silence. Say.
In Nirvikalpa Samadhi, it is silent. No,
Yes.
like they are silent, Swamiji.
Yes.
When we come out of Nirvikalpa Samadhi, the words appear.
But if the words appear, then the silence is lost.
Yeah, that's why it's no.
So that becomes
no.
no.
We want to be the same in both the conditions.
In Jivan Mukta
State.
You are taking yes versus no. I am taking silence. When he says once the words have revealed one's own essential nature, they fall into silence. So one is Nirvikalpa Samadhi, I understand. Okay, the mind has quietened. The words Sat Chit Ananda, they have counteracted. Whatever they were counteracted, that have pacified. Then the words Sat Chit Ananda also have no purpose anymore. The self is revealed. But don't you come out of Nirvikalpa Samadhi. After that, what will happen? After that, again duality begins for you. Or is there a possibility to remain in silence in spite of the thoughts?
in Sahajasthiti.
Yes, that is yes and no. Yes, when the silence is there, you are. No, because mind nature is the words. Words become silent. But can words remain silent forever? No, the nature of the mind is to become unmanifest, manifest. So after some time, the mind will again click into thoughts. Then the moment mind becomes busy with thoughts, are you going to lose the self then?
Oh, we must be indifferent, no, Swamiji.
That's why I used the word yes and no. Yes,
Yeah.
When the words become silent, the self is revealed. No, because when the words, which meaning the mind becomes silent, but mind cannot remain silent forever.
Yes.
Mind will. The nature of the mind is to be silent and to think again. So when thinking begins again in the mind, are you going to lose being the self?
No, Swamiji.
That's the point that I was bringing you all to. You understand? Now with this understanding, now you come to your japa. Someone, I don't know who it was, someone said some gap, the silence between two thoughts. So yes, in between two thoughts there is silence, and you are, but when the thoughts appear, have you lost yourself? Or are you, as Raghavendra said, you remain indifferent? No, you be inclusive. You're not even thinking about the thoughts. Just like sun does not think about heat and light, ocean doesn't think about waves, moon doesn't think about its coolness, you will not think about your thoughts. Because you are all that there is. That is the Parama Maunam. That is the Parama Maunam. That is Prashanti, which is not opposed to Ashanti or Shanti, which is not opposed to thoughts or no thoughts. You're getting the point?
Yes, and not so clear, Swamiji. Can you please repeat again?
Remove the mind and then ask the question.
Okay, Swamiji. I sort of,
there is nothing to understand. I am saying, did you understand? There is nothing to understand here. Either you are with it or you are not. Simple as that. It's out of habit. I am saying, did you understand? Do you understand?
Swamiji, that when you realize that at that time there is no need for a words and it is silence, that part I understood, Swamiji. But the second one, when there is a mind, when there is, that part I didn't really
because
get it.
Your basic premise is wrong. When you are realized, so you are still taking you are still taking realization to be an event which is going to happen sometime in future.
Yeah. When
bring it here and now. Forget about when.
When I'm not using
again,
the
you are
mind.
using when. You again postponed it because mind is trying to work it out.
Yeah.
As long as mind is trying to work it out, it is under the limitation of time, space, and objectivity.
Yes.
If at this moment you forget about when, just be, there will be only silence.
Yes.
So where's the question that I didn't understand? Mind can never understand.
Now, the question that it was asked, Swamiji, mind and no mind, that's what you said, yes and no, that part.
I didn't say, we talked about the word becoming silent. That's what the statement says here. Once the words have revealed one's own essential nature, it's just a language. Words can never reveal the essential nature.
Yep.
It's just a way of communication. That, and so many examples I have taken, that words, you are using the word Satchidananda to counteract the Asat, Achit and Dukkham. Once they have counteracted, I have given you the example of sleep. Once everything is neutralized, do you keep thinking of sleep?
No.
And the sleep begins. Similarly, Satchidananda counteracts Asat, Achit, Dukkham, and once that has been neutralized, then do you need to keep thinking about I am Satchidanand, I am Satchidanand? No. There you are. But this one, if you take it as Nirvikalpa Samadhi, you have put efforts, you have brought through japa or through whatever contemplation you have come, then if you have not understood what the word Satchidananda were talking about when we say heat and light is the sun. But we have not understood the sun. Hanumanji went to eat it as an apple. See, we have not understood. We are still thinking Satchidananda is indicating the truth. Truth. When I realize the truth, Are Baba, you are the truth. Right now. It is not when I realize the truth. When the truth reveals. Truth is revealing every moment. This is not being subjective when we say when. When is it's taking you away from yourself. You have created distance between yourself and realization and the self. In other words, when we use the word when, we have created a distance between the mind and the consciousness. We are introducing the error of space and time. That error of space and time is called objectivity. Mind is consciousness. You are consciousness. So when words subside, you are, but can words remain subsided all the time? No, the nature of the mind is Prakriti. Yes, it is an imagination, it is a delusion, it is an illusion, whatever you may call it, mithya. But the nature is, as long as this body is continuing, for whom? For others. As long as this body is continuing, the mind is going to click in again. And what will mind do? Think. For some moments it stopped thinking, and you realized, because you contemplated in the correct manner, the self revealed. And when the mind clicks in, starts thinking, we don't lose ourselves. We continue to be the self. We continue to not, I am the self, I am undisturbed, I am indifferent to the thoughts, I am indifferent to the mind. No. The realization of the self, or the revelation of the self, which is always, what is the nature of the self? Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate. There is nothing outside it. That includes the thoughts, that includes the mind, that includes the waker, dreamer, sleeper. That includes the experiencer, experienced, experiencing. There is nothing outside the self.
Yes, Swamiji, thank you. Yeah.
So where's the question of being afraid of or losing your realization if the mind clicks back in by way of thoughts? It will not. Yes, when we are in Nirvikalpa Samadhi, which has been brought about through force, through efforts, without understanding. You are not you have chanted Om, Om, Om and come to Nirvikalpa Samadhi. But what is Om? That it is your nature, that you have not understood. The connotation of Om is not there. Then we will go into silence in Nirvikalpa and we come out, the world is still there. Vedanta changes this. There is no coming back to anything. There is no coming back to anything. Once you are gone, you are gone. Once you have realized the self, or once you have come to abide in the self as the self, once the jiva has come to realize he is the infinite Paramatma, because it was always that, then why was he considering itself to be jiva? Because of the mind. But once he realizes how, according to Vedanta, then there is no coming back to. Then I cannot come back to the body, I cannot come back to the mind, I cannot come back to anything. Because then I am everything. I am one without a second. You know why this wrong conclusion comes? Because every day you go to sleep where there is nothing, and then you come back to the same life that you left yesterday. So this idea is coming that when I go into realize myself, I will come back to being the self, the body again, and the mind again, and the husband again. It will not happen. For people it may be, but for you as a person who is abiding in the self, you are everything after that. If you have approached correctly and come to correctly abide with correct understanding. Little bit error also, it will not take you there. Little bit error, you will again try to you will give validity to the world. One error is enough to give validity to the world. So what is our experience of the world here on as the body? We are trying to superimpose this experience on the state of realization, on the self. Self has got no beginning and no end. Individual has a beginning and end. As a waker, he has a beginning. As a waker, he has an end. As a dreamer, he has a beginning. Dreamer, he has an end. As a sleeper, he has a beginning. And a sleeper, he has an end. So we are thinking, when we realize, when the mind comes back in, when the mind clicks back in, what will happen to me? Nothing will happen to you. You are you only. Then what will happen to the mind? For that you who has come to know, who is abiding in the self, there is no mind. Just as Ishvara has no mind, a realized master also has no mind. People see that he has a mind, but you ask him, he is everything. Good. It is not something that your mind can conceptualize. Therefore, this type of language is being used. It's not just language, this is the best way it can be put across. That's the limitation of the words. Maybe someone else can put it in a better way. Listen to others. See. अरे यार कंप्लीट नहीं हुआ. Just as a person cannot measure his height by measuring his own shadow, the truth cannot be assessed by the limitation of the sense organs, mind, intellect, etc. In that pure existence, there is no need to declare I am existence, nor for pure consciousness to assert that I am consciousness. To call bliss as bliss is redundant. We'll look at these points in our next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Just sit quietly for a moment.